Welcome to 10 Minutes With. It's a podcast for people who want to listen to podcasts but don't have all day. We've got a quick chat with someone you might be interested in learning more about in about 10 minutes. And in this episode, we're getting to know one of your Family Life on-air hosts. Jesse Gabel sees God's authoring hand in the smallest of life's details, thanks to his grounded, heavenly-mindedness and a healthy imagination, time in his Bible, life with his wife Maddie, and a relentless sense of humor tend to shape the takes you'll hear from Jesse on the radio in the afternoons. Jesse might be the newest to live radio at Family Life, but you'd never know it thanks to his quick wit and inviting presence as co-host in the afternoons of Maine and Gabel. I'm Tim Powers from Rise Up in the mornings on Family Life, and let's get to know Jesse a little better. What would surprise me the least to know about kid Jesse that hasn't changed? Like, what do you right now, Jesse, have in common with the 8-year-old version of you that would surprise me the least?
I know. It is sporadic inspiration. When I was 8, my mom had like a collection of 100 of those notebooks. They come in like all the colors of the rainbow, and they've got 150 pages or whatever. And I would take a new one every couple of days and start writing a new story. But I would get bored about 6 pages in, and then I'd go and grab another one. So to this day, around the house, we have notebooks that have like the first 6, 10, 12 pages all dedicated to some story I was writing. And then I just gave up on it halfway through and moved on to the next thing. And in modern Jesse's world, I think it's much the same. I have like a bunch of different projects that I'll start on, and I'll, for a day and a half, I will just be glued to this thing. And then who knows? Maybe I'll pick that back up in another 2 years. Much the same.
I know that you have been in media, for lack of a better phrase or term.
Sure.
Since you were like young, like YouTube was pretty early for you, right? Like when was the first time that you got behind a camera or in front of a camera?
I guess pre-YouTube, I was making videos on a little Coolpix camera, and I would make full short films on that with my friends. And they were always like James Bond, spy-related movies where we'd be using just whatever objects we could conceivably imagine were a weapon and fight each other with them. And then I remember 2016 being a really big year for YouTube in particular. I think I had done YouTube videos before then, but 2016 was when I really got in the zone, and I was making, gaming videos or stop motion videos or little vlogs and stuff all at once. So, oh man, that was 9 years ago? Yeah, that 2016 does not feel like 9 years ago, but that was kind of the starting point.
I know that your family is really important to you, big part of your story, still really close to you. When did he become a pastor? How old were you?
Oh, every time I go to answer this question, I get it wrong, and he has to correct me. So don't take my word for it. I think 12.
I don't know a lot of people whose dads became a pastor at a certain point. I know more of people who have always been in a pastor's family,
right.
Always been a PK. Did you just one morning realize, I guess I'm a PK now, a pastor's kid? What was the transition like? Was that cool?
I do remember it gave me a lot of new jokes that I could make. That's kind of what I was excited for. I was like, this is a bit. This is a bit. I can be like, oh, guys, I'm the PK. I don't know what that means. Somebody. But I know with some kids, it's like a mark of shame, I guess, or it becomes one. Never really felt like that. It was very cool. I'm very, very proud of my dad. He's a great guy, great pastor, and my wife Maddie and I go and visit home church every weekend that we can.
You have gotten the opportunity to preach before at your church, right?
Yeah, I did. I did once. It was funny. I was reading in my Bible, and I had just connected a lot of dots. So I'm connecting all of these threads, and I told my wife, I almost feel like I should write out a sermon. This is really coming together. But I don't preach sermons. That's kind of weird, right? And 12 hours later, my dad, we were visiting, and he said, hey, I'm really sick. I'm under the weather. I was thinking about asking you if you could preach tomorrow. Which is a really out of left field question because it's not like I do this regularly. And I said, well, already on it. Started writing last night. So I guess this is how the Lord wanted this to come together. And I did a sermon there, and I really enjoyed it. So it was really cool.
When you're doing your radio breaks, you're doing your afternoon show that you and Therese do on Family Life, I know sort of a little bit of your process because we literally share a cubicle, but I'm just going to ask because I don't know it entirely. I know you write out what you're thinking, but are you going to like read it like a script when you get on the air, or how is that going to work usually for you?
A little behind the scenes, Tim and I have talked about this. We've talked about this, that if we just have one sentence that we know is going to like end the break, or that like this is what I want to land on, we can kind of go off the rails and say whatever comes to us in the moment, as long as we know we have that exit door that we can leave out of this one sentence that wraps things up. So when I'm writing, sometimes my break will start really great, disintegrate halfway through, and then have a nice punchy ending.
This is an honest confession I'm making right now, and I don't know if I've said it to you before, Jesse, but it's worth saying here, is that you are just braver than I am. I really mean it. No, I won't let you discount it. Here's the thing. I know you're going to say, no, it's procrastination, no, it's this, whatever. No, you're actually braver than I am, because I won't stand up and imagine I'm about to say anything funny or clever. And it always works. You do. You stand up to say something, whether it's in staff meeting or if it's on the radio, I'm like, the guy always has something really great to say. So you're braver than I am. It works.
Here's me. I haven't said this to you. This is something I've been thinking about lately. Here's me being vulnerable on a podcast. It's easy for me to be funny. I've always found that to be just second nature. I can pull some kind of joke out or some kind of quip, and that's easy. It's not as easy to be like genuine and honest and serious and like real with people. So I have noticed something I'm trying to work on in just my relationships with people is I can be so goofy and make that my whole personality that I feel like I almost alienate myself from them in a way. Like all they know is the quippy, class clown side of Jesse. And I'll probably turn any serious situation into a silly one really quick because that's easy. It's more comfortable for me. And so I'm trying to like recognize that that's a part of myself that God made that's valuable, like the humor and whatnot is not to be just cast aside, but to balance it with everything else too. So that's and how that translates to radio, I'm not sure. It's still something I'm figuring out, but you might be braver than me in just ways that I am not.
I like that a lot, though, and I do see that in you. That makes a perfect segue into a question I thought of the other day. I was like, I can't wait to ask Jesse that question. I really can't wait to ask Jesse that question.
Oh, boy.
What about yourself do you like the most?
Oh.
Yes. I'm going to ask you what you like about yourself. And no, you can't give any qualifications, no negative sides of it. No. You just have to tell me something good about yourself as if you're another person.
Tim's watching me like, I think I like that not a lot gets to me. Now, I will put a little disclaimer. Some things, really silly things that you wouldn't expect will get to me. Like if somebody is looking over my shoulder at something that I'm writing, can't stand that. But
I'm sorry, that was just relatable.
We sit back to back in our office. We have a very strict code. But in general, like, and we've talked about this, Teresa and I, on our show, a lot of it is water off a duck's back. I didn't used to be that way. I've always been, just growing up, very anxious, very, what do people think of me? How am I being perceived? And what if I say the wrong thing? Blah, blah, blah. But I've found the Lord's just given me a peace about that in the last few years that, a break goes south or doesn't go the way I wanted to. That stinks. Moving on to the next thing. And stuff doesn't keep me up at night as much anymore. And I found in relationships with people too, there have been times where I feel like I've been able to show an unusual amount of grace or patience with somebody that I wouldn't have been able to years ago. Mm-hmm. And there are definitely still parts of me that are anxious about certain things and impatient about certain things. And the Lord's working on me, but He's given me a tremendous amount of peace when it comes to a lot of the things that used to bother me. And I really like being able to go through scenarios and know, oh, wow, me of 4 years ago would not have been able to handle that. And here I am. So, and that's all, to God be the glory. I don't have any, magical meditation routine that I go through that's allowed me to achieve this inner peace. It's just something that He's taken out of me. and replace with something better.
Man, that's cool. I love that. There's no better way to answer that question. So yeah, I knew that wouldn't be so bad. I knew that'd be.
Took a long time to reel it out of me.
So good.
That was a rant, but
this should be easier to feel comfortable about.
I dislike about myself. Oh, thank you.
No. See, no, we're not going there. We're gonna say this. What trait of Maddie's, what trait of your wife would you want to grow in the most yourself? So what does she have where you're like, man, I want to be more like that?
She is organized and driven, and she gets stuff done and follows a schedule, and I do not. I'm so aloof. People nowadays, they've learned to go to Maddie and ask her if we're available rather than me, because I'll say like, oh yeah, Monday night, yeah, of course, yeah, we're free. And Maddie's like, no, we've had dinner on the calendar for 2 weeks. We don't. She's just very, she also spends one-on-one time with people. That's something that I have struggled to do, and another thing I'm trying to work on. And it goes back to the being funny thing. Like in a group setting, really easy to kind of just blend in and be funny and whatever. One-on-one, I have to connect with somebody face to face and personally, and you can't always hide behind this humor shield. Maddie does that all the time. She will get together with friends and spend one-on-one time with people and go get lunch, go get dinner, and that's another just, I don't know, bravery thing that I want to work on. And I guess in order to do that, I also have to have a good calendar and be decent at scheduling things. And so both of those, they work hand in hand.
You're going to be like, Maddie, I'm so proud of myself. I'm having a one-on-one meal with so-and-so on Wednesday. And she's like, we have plans on Wednesday.
I was so close. Maybe next time.
If only she had been looking over your back when you were writing it on the calendar.
Yeah, well, I could never allow that. I could never.
I love this so much. I've been really glad we've gotten to work with each other, and that now somebody thought it was a good idea to put us in the same cubicle together. I guess they figured it was safe since we don't actually have any airtime together.
Yeah. We have a long-standing joke about having a like midnight to 4 a.m. show, me and Tim. I don't know if they'll ever give us that airtime. It might be short-lived. We had a 5-minute rant about like planets or something sci-fi.
That was the other question I was going to ask you, and I know there's not time for, which was going to be, what's your favorite conspiracy theory that might be true?
Yes. Well, this one has to go in. My favorite conspiracy theory that might be true. So many to choose from. I think the only right answer is Bigfoot. I think Bigfoot is one of those things that no matter how much evidence gets put up, like one brick at a time. We're building this wall between us and Bigfoot. I feel like there will always be just enough of a crack in the bricks that the theory will stay alive. That's not to say that it is big enough for any bricks of good evidence to fit through. It just means that it's enough to keep the imagination running.
That's right. We can say, all right, there's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's still a chance.
There's a chance.
It could be the case.
He's probably not out there. But
you can't say that you know that he isn't.
You can't say that you know that he...
I think this is why we can't have a show together, Jesse.
We can hardly have a podcast.
Thanks for listening to 10 Minutes With. Did you know Family Life offers a variety of podcasts? You can get up to date with Family Life news or enjoy some family time with Family Life Kids. There's If That Makes Sense, a Family Life original podcast where we talk about what life is really like for Christian young adults. And Therese Talk, a podcast with help for women to better serve their families and communities. They're all free and on demand at familylife.org. Just click podcast in the radio menu.